Alright, invasive species. Right now I'm going to talk about garlic mustard. It'll be a lot quicker than the last one because it's a pretty simple, easily identified plant. So, garlic mustard is a biennial. It's a plant that lives and lasts for 2 years. It was first introduced from Europe into America for herbal and medicinal purposes. The first recording was 1868 in Long Island, and now it's spread pretty far through the country. Pretty big problem in the U.S., Midwest, especially in Ohio. Alright, so back on the biennial thing, it has 2 stages. The first year and the second year. In the first year, it'll just be these little leaves. They got the kind of wrinkled edges, vaguely heart-shaped, I guess. And then in the second year, the leaves grow a bit more prickly. As you can see here, they're kind of spiky on the edges. They flower, 4 petals per flower, little white flowers in clusters. And they also develop seed pods. These are green, and then, as you can see, once the plant dies, they turn to this brown color, which falls off the plant and splits. See how these are each like halves of the thing, and then it spits all these seeds out, and there can be hundreds of them. The blooming does happen from April to mid-June. They grow 2 to 4 feet tall, and then they die and they spread their seeds. Alright, what makes it invasive? We saw that it reduced hundreds of seeds, but it does reduce the growth of wildflowers and mutualistic soil fungi. And this is really interesting because it's actually an allelopathic tendency. It releases toxins that slow down the growth of other native species, which is why it can be so problematic. It also contains cyanide in trace amounts, which can make it poisonous to animals. And you can actually boil that out of the plant, so some people do use garlic mustard in cooking, and it's very small amounts. Okay, seeds remain viable for up to 10 years in the soil. It's dispersed by water, humans, or animals, and it does the best with some amount of shade. So we usually see the most of these will be on forest edges, and they can get deeper into the forest along streams and trails, but you can see them in grassy areas like savannas as well. They don't need that shade. Removal. So mechanical removal is actually pretty effective with this plant compared to other plants. If you have a smaller population, you just pull it right up, put it in a bag because it can continue growing and release its seeds even after you've pulled it up. So, when you put that in a bag, dispose of it, take it off site. You might have heard of a mustard pool. It's when a community gets together and just pulls up a bunch of these. So you can even do it with huge populations as long as you get, an effective group for it. In larger populations, some people cut it while it's flowering. But because those seeds can still, get out, it's important to remove the pieces from the site or cut them super duper small, so like a flail mower. What also works is a prescribed fire in late spring, but if you don't want to be killing, a bunch of other things, you probably don't want to do that. And then removal is most effective in the spring. Especially best for hand pulling is before it's flowered because you don't want the seeds to fall out. Okay, foliar application systemic herbicides, which includes Roundup, Glypro, Aquanit. That's best done temperatures greater than 50 degrees Fahrenheit and the area is dry for 8 hours. Because you don't want the water pushing it all off. And this is best done with spray shields. This is just something that attaches onto your whatever sprayer that you use for the herbicides. It keeps it from getting onto plants that you don't want to spray. Because the thing with systemic herbicides, like these examples that work well, they aren't selective. They're going to kill whatever it touches, and you don't want that screwing over your native plants. So some people wait to do this application until non-target species are dormant. So that might be late fall, early spring, or during the winter. Whatever grows in the area that you want to protect, you want it to be dormant when you do the spraying. And these plants actually, they don't really go dormant. The leaves stay green during the winter. Okay, that's done on first year plants as well. And it's crucial to spray all of the garlic mustard plants. Missing some, they'll keep spreading, and beyond that, they can actually develop a resistance to the herbicide if it survives and spread that onto its offspring. Okay, and there's my sources. That's all for now.